everyone, welcome to my channel, Read Journal Love, and today I wanted to share with you my 2023 book awards. This is what I call it at the end of the year. I always kind of make a little, my yearly annual award thing. So like here it was in 22 in this journal, and then I did a little bit different in 2023. So this is what I had read: 107 books according to my count. Goodreads had more because I DNF'd a couple and I don't count my comic books in my total in my journal. So I read 107 books this year, a little less than last year, but that was like kind of an outlier for me. That was so this is more than what I would usually read, but less than last year, if that makes any sense. But I'm very pleased with reading 107 books. Can't believe that. So these are what I chose for my personal opinion of the books I read. Not everybody's going to agree with my choices, but I sure hope you do. So I'm going to start at the bottom and then work my way up to my book of the year. And I don't, although say the book of the year would fit under another category, I don't count it there. So it allows for, another book to come on. So that's just the way I do it. Okay, so my first award is an honorable mention. And I did this year because I didn't really know where to put this. It is I would consider it I don't know, I get really confused what's middle grade and what's elementary, but it's definitely a kid's book, and I didn't read that many series or of those this year as I did the previous years. So I put it as honorable mention, and I don't have a copy because I either checked them out from my church or read them on Libby, or I bought them and then donated it to the church. So they're all over there. And so I'm going to put a picture up here, but it is the Dead Sea Squirrels. I talk about this a lot. I love these books. They're just adorable. I love them. So starting in September, I started the first and I read through 11, and then I ordered 12 and it comes on the 9th. So I'll be reading that here this coming week. And so it's about a young boy that goes with his dad and a friend over to the Holy Lands for an archaeological dig. And I don't want to give it all away, but he ends up getting these petrified squirrels, and he thinks it would be cool to bring them home. So he smuggles them back to America, and then they come alive when they get here, and because they get wet. Was that what it was? Because they get wet? Yeah. And so then they come alive, and so then that's all in one, and then all the other books are their little stories about them, and then there they go back, and then they get stolen. So now they have been kidnapped again, and they are stuck in Babylon, and so they're trying to get them out. So that's what the next coming book. Are they going to be able to break out of this Babylon? So they're adorable. If you know somebody young, or even if you're an adult, check them out. They are so funny, and I think they're well written. I really like, that he puts the picture, he draws pictures, and they're just fun pictures. And the way he does when they're in the cave, the pages are dark with white letters. So it gave you an experience, I guess you put in your head that you're in the cave. But I love these books. I love these books. No wonder they're so popular in the church library. Anyways, moving on. Most surprising book of the year. And this year I'm giving that to The Immortal by Angela Hunt. I read this on Libby, so I'm going to have to put a picture up here. And this book, I I'd read one book by her before, and I really liked it a lot. And so that's what made me want to attempt this. And then just the plot and the synopsis sounded really good. So I, went on a limb or whatever. But it's about a woman who is what do you call those people? They study bad people when they're in court. I don't know. So, and then something happens with her job. And so she ends up having to go to Italy. And while she's there, she runs into this guy. And so there's a lot of kind of intrigue in that respect. But it's the mystery around this guy. And I don't want to give anything away, but there's a lot of faith in it. And it certainly got me thinking. And I would recommend it. I really enjoyed it. So, The Immortal by Angela Hunt. Next would be the most challenging. This year, I didn't read any really challenging nonfiction books. I certainly read some that had me thinking, but not any that just totally tore me apart, I guess, mentally. So what did do that was a fiction book. And I like classics. I don't read a whole bunch of them, but so this book, Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. I've never read this one, and so that's why I picked it. I've never seen that movie with Emma Thompson, who I like, so it surprises me that I haven't seen it. But I figured I would read the book first. I don't know. I mean, I like Jane Austen. I like all her other books mostly. So this is one of the two that I haven't read. This one and Mansfield Park. But this one, I did not like the people. I did not like the people. So I think that's why it was a challenge for me to get through it. And then, I know people are going to be upset with me. The best overall nonfiction. Okay, now, it was the last week of December. I had made my awards list and I gave this thing, but then I read one the last week. So now I'm torn. Do I give it or do I don't know. So this is going to be a tie on this one. So the first one, I'm going to have to put a picture up here because I read it on Libby. And it's The 5 Lies of Our Non-Christian Age by Rosaria Butterfield. And now I read her other book and it was all right, but this one was a lot different. It was really speaking to a lot about today. So I really enjoyed it, especially the chapter about feminism. That one really kind of got me thinking and, so I really enjoyed it. I would recommend checking it out. And then it tied, I do have a copy of this one, Where God Came Down by Joel Kramer. He is the host of Bible Expedition here on YouTube. And please read this book. Please check out his channel. Please, please, please. You will not regret it. It is so interesting. Oh my gosh, y'all, this book. I talked about it in my other one, so I won't go overboard on this one, but I know I need to get going. But this one, oh my gosh, please. It's so good. It is so good. It totally just brought things to life for me, seeing the pictures and hearing his interpretations about how it relates biblically. And please check him out. Okay, so next would be Best Devotional. And I've read quite a few this year. And so that's going to go to Mixtape Theology by Rachel Cash. I always want to say Rosanna. It's Rachel Cash. And this is really good. If you like Christian music, especially from the 90s, okay? Because all of the songs in here are from 90s Christian music. And so, like, I mean, here, I turn to the Stomp. Were you in the 90s? Didn't you love this song? Oh my. So yeah. And then it just like talks about the song, and it puts verses that influence that artist, the impression from the 90s, the impression from today, and then it has a little theology lesson about the words of the lyrics of the song. But so good. Highly recommend that too. Okay, best cozy would be, I put it in by itself, and that would go to Every Dog Has His Day. Woo! By Janice Thompson. I'll have to put a picture up here because yes, I read it on Libby, and I read it first in September. It's book 5. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it has that little dog on it, and it has football, and I was like, okay, September, we got to read it then. This is perfect. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh my goodness, it's the best little book. Oh my goodness. I just loved it so much. I love the people in the book and how they're not so much like well, some of them are family, but all of them together just make this little family group or whatever. And I like them, and they're all different, and I like that. I like that there's dogs. I like that it's set in Texas. They make a lot of references to things that I know about because I live so close to there, being in Oklahoma. And it talks about Mexican food and like tacos and stuff, and which I love, living in Oklahoma. And yeah, it just had everything for me, and I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, mystery, a little love in there with the couple, and so good, so good. Sweet little wedding at the end with another couple that just was so, it just sounds like such a quaint wedding. It was sweet. Country music was talked about, like, yeah. Okay, moving on. Best contemporary fiction. Okay, again, this is one where I had made my list the last weekend of the month, and then there was that last week, and I read another book, and I was like, oh, now what do I do? So again, we have a tie. So I'm gonna put the first one up here that I picked, and that was Authentically Izzy. I read that, I think it was in January, and I loved it. I love the geeky romance. I love the part of it being in Scotland, and then the other half in the Andy Griffith area, because I love that, and I like Scotland. I mean, I've never been there, but that's like my history or family history or whatever. And so, yeah, like those two things, and then all the geekiness, with the Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings and all the references, right? And then they're bookish, so they talk a lot about books, and yeah. Okay, so that, and then that last week I read this book, Snow Angels by Kathy Swanson, and Shatona on her channel recommended this in her Christmas books to read or whatever. I've liked this book so much. Now, it's got 2 people on there. I'm going to say the romance was not the top thing in the story. It was there. But so I like her. She has social anxiety, and that at the beginning there's this issue with her in a shelter, and I have had something like that, and I know I understand social anxiety. So I really appreciated that was put in a book, made me feel my experiences were a little bit more real or whatever. And then she works in a podiatry office. Okay, I once worked in a podiatry office. And just I liked her. And so she gets put into this working in a homeless shelter on Thanksgiving Day. And that kind of like spirals into other things. And so she basically starts like her own little homeless ministry with this guy who she thinks is homeless. I don't want to give anything away, but it does say pretty early on, he's not homeless. And okay, so he kind of, my only thing was like, I think people might say that it's bad that he kind of let it go on, but he did try to tell her several times. And I mean, that's part of the story. And so I was okay with that, you know, but yeah, I think it would have maybe been a little bit better if he did tell her earlier on, but then that would kind of like close the story up too soon. So anyways, highly recommend this book. I will be rereading it. I think it would be good, you know, right on that Thanksgiving holiday weekend or whatever, because it is set like the first days in Thanksgiving, and then she has the whole month to work of like ministering. So, and then there's Christmas at the end. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. It was so sweet. It just really touched my heart. Just that hospitality, helping others, the encouragement they gave each other, how they learned from each other. Yeah, it was sweet. Okay. Best historical fiction goes to Jen Serrano, To Spark a Match. Okay, this one took me by surprise. Now, I did really like the first book, okay? I can't remember the name. But it was really good too, okay? Because I liked the little kids in the book, and I thought that was really sweet. And so, but this one, oh my goodness. The main character, Adelaide, she's a hoot. Oh my gosh. She's a klutz, and she's bookish, and she kind of has the social awkwardness, and she was hilarious. She was funny. And Jen Serrano can write a comedy, you know? And so she sparked and with that in this book. And okay, so then, my favorite, I just love the beginning when she first meets Gideon, the main guy in the book. Okay. I mean, you want to talk about hilarious. Okay. And just the wit, that lady can write some wit. Okay. And conversations and stuff. And that was just hilarious. That whole little scene in the book. And so then, you know, they have meeting or whatever. And then, but then it kind of turns into a little bit more, you know, and because she's kind of like, she's been through so many of the seasons of trying to find a man, and so she's given up, basically. She's going to be I can't think of words, but she just given up, okay? And then, so does she hire him or what? But then, so they kind of like get a relationship going, but she doesn't really know what he does. And it's basically, he's kind of a spy. And so then she kind of starts becoming an even better spy. And yeah, they need their own book. They need the spy series, most definitely. A funny spy series would be amazing. Jen Serrano, if you're listening, which you probably aren't because I'm like a nobody on YouTube, but yes, please write more of this couple. They need their own series. And so yeah, moving on. Best fictional series. Of course, I'm going to give that to the Martha's Vineyard Cozy Mystery Series. I've been working through that now. I'm getting ready to start the 17th book, so I've been on it a little over a year. So, of course, I'll try to put a picture of one of them up here. And then the best book of 2024. I'm sure it's going to be of no surprise to anybody. I haven't talked about it that much. But Man of Shadow and Mist by Michelle Greep. Okay. I was waiting for this book. I was so happy about this book. I love this. It was so good. Michelle Greep is an amazing writer. She can do about anything. She's written kind of a Dickens thing. She's written kind of I guess they're like thief spy people. That one, I like that series. And then I like the series What's the other one? I can't think now. But anyway, she can do a lot of writing. And I really like the first one in this series. And this is the second. And so this is of Monsters and Men is the name of the series of Monsters and Men. And so the first one had a Frankenstein vibe, which is one of my 3 favorite classics. And this one has a Dracula vibe, which is another of my 3 favorite classics. And so, yes, so good. And it's kind of like a, a Jamie Jo Wright thing where there's a logical reason for it, it's kind of Scooby-Dooed at the end. And so I like that, but you kind of know it. I mean, going through this, you are aware of the logical thing, but you're watching the other characters come to understand that. So, but yes, so good. So many Dracula references that I found in it that I liked. Even Brom himself shows up in there as somebody, and just the references are a lot in here. And yes, I'll be rereading this soon. Probably right before. I hope she writes a 3rd one, because that would be amazing. And I've been thinking, who would that be, So thank you, Michelle Greep, for writing this book. It was my hit of the year. Thank you. So these are my choices. What do you think? Do you agree with any? Do you have any disagreements? Leave me a comment, and here's to reading in 2024. Okay, bye.